talking about food. I've seen this like sort of like similar food in Finland with this Korean food, which is like Mustamakkara, which is basically black sausage. Because in Korea we also have similar to Mustamakkara stuff. However, before we start, there's a new guest. Could you introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Ville. Hi.
Recently in Korean TV that there were like 3 Finnish guys actually traveled to Korea for the first time, and then they had this Korean version of Mustamakkara, which is called Sundae. And then normally we are sort of like using this the sauce, like salty sauce for this Korean version of Mustamakkara Sundae. But then those Finnish guys were using this Lingonberry jam, which is like sweet and a little bit sour, right?
Yeah.
It was really weird to Korean people, and they're like, what the hell they are doing? And then, but for me, I've been living here like for a long time, so they're like, I understand, because like you guys have this Mustamakkara, with this Lingonberry is pretty common here. What I heard is that Mustamakkara is sort of either is from or like it's really popular in Tampere area, and then both of you guys studied in Tampere, right?
Yeah, we both.
Yeah, so maybe you guys are the right guys to talk about this Mustamakkara.
Yeah. In Tampere, it's very traditional food, and I think Tampere is very famous about their Mustamakkara, and there are also, I think, big part of Mustamakkaras produced in Finland have been produced in Tampere, at least by Tampere companies which are coming from Tampere.
Is it like tapiola Mustamakkara?
Yeah, the tapola.
Yeah,
Tapola. Okay,
yeah.
So I've seen like in the supermarkets, like.
And do you know the tapola and the connection with the Finnish ski jumper? Like the really famous Finnish ski jumper Matti Nykänen was married to Mervi Tapola, who was one of those Mustamakkara tapolas.
So he became this ambassador of Mustamakkara or something.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. Yeah.
But then, how is it made? Like, what is the ingredients, and then what kind of things you put inside of this Mustamakkara?
Blood is one thing.
Basically, it's like this pig's intestine, and then inside there's some blood and some kind of like grains, right?
Yeah, it's more grainy than normal sausage. Like the mixture has some grains in it, so I guess some people some kind of thing pretty close to it, or similar, like Ryynimakkara, like ryynis, these little grains. It's like a mixture of wonderful little meats and blood.
So basically, there's no meat then inside.
I'm not sure if. Well, yeah, I guess the mixture is not that much about like meat.
Okay.
It's like a mixture of different kinds of stuff, and the blood is like taking the place of the meat.
So like I heard that this the reason you're having this kind of meaty dishes with Lingonberry is that Lingonberry has this sweet and sour taste, so it kind of like has balance with this sort of greasy taste of meat. So it kind of
Yeah, it's also like complements really well with this reindeer meat.
Yeah,
thing as well.
Because I heard that like Lingonberry has this they have this compounds inside that to degrade the fat, and then also it sort of has an effect to suppress your appetite, so you eat like sort of less. That's why like I've been introducing this Lingonberry jam to my Korean friends, that this is really good for your diet, because like you eat less and then it degrades your fat. In Korea, this Sundae is basically one of the street foods, so that it's like we have a lot of those street food vendors, and then this Sundae has been one of the most popular kind of street food. So you either like dip with the salt or this sour sauce called samjang that normally you have with barbecue. I think you guys have experience with this samjang, because like I'm sure like all of you guys really like. Then depends on the provinces in Korea. So that's why like there are sometimes like dispute. Okay, like salt is the best, or no, samjang is the best. We have like some kind of argument, but also Sundae is very. There are like different kinds of sundae. Also, it depends on the regions. But then, basic this street food sundae basically with pig's intestine, and then stuffed with this sweet potato noodle we call tangmyeon, and then stuffed there, and then it's really long. But then you slice it, and that's how you serve. There are like different kind of varieties of sundae. Basic type is pork intestine stuffed with this the tangmyeon, sweet potato noodles. But then there are like specific types in different kind of like regions in Korea. That normally those ones, the real ones are putting the blood and meat.
Okay.
So that it's sort of similar to Mustamakkara in that way. And then also there's like another version is they are using squid. It's a calamari. Because the calamari looks like this, long cylinder shape. So they stuffed blood and stuff inside of the calamari.
Okay.
That's. I mean, I haven't tasted it myself, but then that's probably one of the things that I would like to introduce when you guys are in Korea in June. It'll be probably interesting to bring this Lingonberry jam to Korea and then try with those. And then I'm sure that those restaurant staff will ask, okay, what the hell is that? And then we can introduce them and then bring some Finnish culture there.
What is this madness like? Lingonberry with my squid, like, no, you can't combine those. Why not?
But food culture has no limit. That was about one of the food items that very similar. I mean, the Korean and Finnish are sharing. Now change the gear to university experience. Most of students graduate from in Finnish lukio, but in high school basically they get into. Most of them get into university, also in Korea and then Finland, I believe as well. Then. I would like to talk about this kind of university party culture. But before we start, there's new guest, as you see. Then would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Simo. I'm also Finn.
University party is what I've seen in Finland is they are wearing the same costume, which is called overall, right?
Yeah.
I think all of you graduated from university. So could you explain a little bit about your experience in university, especially those kind of how do you party and then how do you network with basically those fellow students?
Yeah. I think it's depends a lot about department and what is your major and in part of studies. I think those overalls and overall parties are very important role. But in some departments, I think maybe not. So yeah. I think that's at least.
So it's overalls are depending on your department, basically.
Yeah. There are different kind of colors and different universities and different departments have their own colors.
But then, how do you guys party? Is it more only freshmen kind of get together, have party, or basically same grade people, or you guys kind of get mixed up with some sophomores or seniors or juniors, or is it how the party goes?
Yeah, I think there are some freshman parties, so that's the basics. But after that, there are parties where there are students from different levels and different. They have studied. Some of them maybe have studied many years. So yeah.
Those kind of living legends.
Yeah, like that. Yeah.
In overall, there are a lot of stickers because more sticker means more parties you attend or something like that.
Yeah.
Who's organizing this kind of party? Is it some kind of private party or some kind of organization throws the party?
Yeah, there are student organizations and smaller ones, but then there are bigger ones, kind of university level organizations, and I think there are different kind of parties. Yeah, but mostly those student organizations.
Where do you do these kind of parties? In the summertime, obviously, I've seen a lot of those overall university students in the parks and basically outside, or they are doing some bar hoppings and such. Then also when I was studying, I've seen this. There are some kind of those organizations, clubhouse, that they're having some parties there too. So but then is it was it correct?
Yeah, like in Tampere, for example, there's this really nice old building, Ylätalo. It's like the old university student union building, and it's this really nice old building where there's a bar and a nightclub, and then the student union headquarters that used to be upstairs.
Alcohol beverages offered for free, or does you have to bring your own beers and alcohol, other alcohol?
At least Ylätalo was like a commercial bar, but it was the student union could also use it for their parties, and they could get sponsors, and also they would get some money from the students' yearly payments.
In Korea, there is also those kind of only freshman party, but most common thing is they're all the grades, freshmen, sophomore, junior, seniors, and then also even for some those master students and those PhDs, they all get together. Korean society is more strict hierarchy. so that you really have to sort of respect the seniors in that way. So there's some kind of culture, like maybe like seniors are like sort of offering drinks, and then you have to like get served like with two hands. Maybe these days it's not much kind of forced drink culture, but then sometimes it's more like if your senior kind of offers a drink and then you sort of have to drink. So that they kind of, but it's getting faded like these days.
So are there like some like like really big dates in the student party calendar like in Finland as well?
It's not by those specific dates, but then we also organize. Normally parties are done in some kind of restaurants and such, restaurants or pubs. Like normally like 20, 30 people kind of get together. Once in a while, they just order some kind of cheddar bus, and then they go somewhere.
Okay.
Somewhere like sort of isolated area where they rented like huge room, sit down there and drink. Because like daytime is more like they do play some kind of games. OT is more like for orientation for freshmen, so for the first time. But then MT is completely Congolish, but MT is like we get together and then drink and then as a freshman introduce yourself to your seniors, and then kind of networking party in the sitting setup, and then you just sing the whole night. And then you drink there, sleep there. One of the things I suggested was because there are like certain places, for example, Gapyeong is really famous for this kind of university party place, because there are a lot of those, the accommodations with huge rooms, and they're like next to this lake, so you do some water sports, and then there was some nature there, so you play some games, and then basically drinking, and you do sort of like network, and then so those seniors graduate first, and they get a job. They get jobs first, so sort of like they kind of help you in that way that like for example, when it comes to, they sort of like consult you like about like your future career path, or like even introducing you to some kind of company, recommending you to company. Or isn't there anything like that in Finland that you sort of get to know those kind of, even though there is no hierarchy, but you get to know those seniors, and then they help you to maybe get a job, or like at least give some advice about your future career path and things like that. Is it really happening in Finland?
I think, yeah, at least some networking, and of course always when you know people and know, for example, if you are applying a job, some persons already from that company, that helps. But you might. Maybe you have that person from some parties or some studies or some stuff.
We basically covered. We talked about like, what started from this, from military service, sauna, and food, and
Mustamakkara.
That one. And then university experience, university party culture. From now on, we're gonna talk about like many different things in next videos. So that, for example, like reviewing some Korean movies, and some, for example, this Taxi Driver series, and also talk about like some the internet memes, if you guys are familiar with.
And we have to do some sauna tests, because I have a pretty good sauna that you can also rent.
yeah, you guys can rent from here if you guys are happen to be in Finland. I will see you guys at the next episode, and then stay tuned with us, and then there will be besides these guys, there will be more guys coming as a guest. So please, keep an eye on us. And then now it's pretty hungry. We are pretty hungry now. So it's time for us to go for Korean barbecue. All right then, guys. Bye bye.
Bye.
Until next time.